Missiles that travel faster than 5 times the speed of sound. Weapons so fast that most defense systems cannot even track them. A race where the difference between winning and losing is measured in seconds. This is the hypersonic arms race. While the world watches the war in Ukraine, another silent contest is unfolding between the United States and Russia to master a technology that could change the balance of power forever. Russia claims it already has these unstoppable weapons. The U.S. insists it is developing systems that will not only catch up but surpass anything Moscow has built. But in a rivalry where speed is everything, who will actually win? For decades, nuclear weapons were considered the ultimate deterrent. They defined the Cold War and kept superpowers locked in a tense but stable balance. Yet hypersonic missiles have introduced a new uncertainty. They are fast, maneuverable, and unpredictable. They fly too low for traditional radar, too fast for many interceptors, and too smart to follow simple trajectories. That is why generals, scientists, and world leaders are paying attention. Because hypersonics are not simply a new missile, they may be the second nuclear revolution, one that is harder to control, easier to use, and far more destabilizing. To understand where we are today, we need to start with Russia. Moscow has always loved to unveil new weapons with dramatic flair, and in the last decade, hypersonics have become its favorite showcase. President Vladimir Putin personally revealed systems such as the Avangard, the Kinzhal, and the Zircon. Each was presented not just as a military tool, but as proof that Russia could still innovate, still intimidate, and still compete with the United States despite economic decline. The Avangard, for example, is described as a hypersonic glide vehicle that can ride atop an intercontinental missile and then detach, maneuvering at speeds of up to Mach 20 or even Mach 27. In theory, it could pierce through any missile defense shield because its path is unpredictable. The Kinzhal, which Russia says can reach Mach 10, has already been used in the Ukraine war, striking depots and command posts. Its arrival was meant to send shockwaves, not just through Kyiv, but through NATO capitals. And then there is the Zircon, a sea-launched cruise missile designed to give Russian warships and submarines the ability to threaten U.S. fleets across the Atlantic or Pacific. Each of these weapons has been accompanied by impressive footage and bold claims. But here is the uncomfortable truth. Russia's track record with advanced technology is mixed. For every missile that works as advertised, there are others that fail tests or underperform in combat. Hypersonics are not cheap. They require specialized materials to survive the immense heat generated at extreme speeds, advanced sensors to navigate under those conditions, and precision manufacturing to make them reliable. Russia's economy, battered by sanctions and the costs of war, may struggle to sustain large-scale production. So while Russia has deployed these weapons first, the question remains, are they reliable tools of war or mostly weapons of psychological intimidation? Across the Atlantic, the United States took a very different path. After the Cold War, Washington focused on counterterrorism and regional conflicts. Drones, precision bombs, and counterinsurgency took priority, not futuristic, ultra-fast missiles. For years, hypersonics were seen as research projects rather than urgent programs. But when Russia and China began showing real progress, the U.S. woke up. Today, the Pentagon is racing to catch up, pouring billions of dollars into multiple programs. One of the most talked about is ARRW, the Air-Launched Rapid Response Weapon, which can be carried by a B-52 bomber. Another is HAWC, the Hypersonic Air-Breathing Weapon concept, powered by a scramjet engine designed for sustained atmospheric flight. Meanwhile, the Navy and Army are collaborating on conventional prompt strike, aiming to deploy hypersonics from submarines and ground-based launchers. What makes the American approach different is philosophy. While Russia emphasizes speed and spectacle, America focuses on integration. U.S. hypersonics are designed to work hand-in-hand with the most advanced surveillance satellites, radar networks, and global command systems. The goal is not simply to fire the fastest missile, but to fire the most accurate one at the right time, coordinated with a larger battlefield strategy. That difference raises a deeper question. What matters more in war, being first to deploy or being the one who deploys effectively? Russia can boast of Mach 10 or Mach 20 speeds. But speed without precision may terrify more than it achieves. The U.S. believes that precision, being able to hit exactly the right target when and where you want, will ultimately prove more decisive than raw velocity. This debate between speed and control is not just technical, it is philosophical. Imagine you are a military planner. Would you rather have a weapon that travels at incredible speed but may miss its target, or one that is slower but guaranteed to strike exactly where you intend? That is the essence of the US-Russia hypersonic rivalry. One side betting on shock and fear, the other on accuracy and integration. The war in Ukraine has turned this theoretical debate into something real. Russia has fired Kinzhal missiles into Ukrainian territory, targeting infrastructure, weapons depots, and defensive positions. At first, the weapons seemed unstoppable, but then reports began to emerge that US-supplied Patriot systems had intercepted some of them. Suddenly, the image of an untouchable superweapon began to crack. Were the Kinzhals truly hypersonic in performance, or simply high-speed ballistic missiles with a new name? The truth is murky, and that is part of the problem. For Moscow, every hypersonic launch is a demonstration to the world. Look at what we can do. For Washington and NATO, every launch is an opportunity to gather data. Every trajectory tracked, every interception attempted, every failure analyzed provides information that can be fed back into America's own research programs. Ukraine, in other words, is not just a battlefield. It is a laboratory, a place where the weapons of the future are tested in real time with real consequences. And this race does not stop at Washington and Moscow. China has already unveiled the DF-17, a hypersonic missile capable of gliding unpredictably at high speeds. In 2021, reports surfaced of a Chinese test that stunned U.S. officials, a hypersonic glide vehicle that circled the globe before descending on its target. India, too, is developing hypersonics, as are other nations. Why? Because hypersonics are more than just military tools. They are symbols of prestige, deterrence, and power. This creates a dangerous ripple effect. During the Cold War, nuclear weapons established a terrifying but stable balance. Both sides knew that launching them would mean mutual destruction, but hypersonics introduce uncertainty. They blur the line between conventional and nuclear strikes. A hypersonic missile could carry either, and an enemy may not know which until it is too late. Leaders could have only minutes or even seconds to decide whether to retaliate. That short fuse increases the risk of miscalculation. And in a world armed with nuclear arsenals, miscalculation is deadly. So who is winning? Russia has the advantage of being first to field these weapons and to use them in combat. That gives it political leverage and psychological impact. But the U.S. is catching up fast, with an edge in precision engineering, global alliances, and the resources to scale production once systems are proven. Victory in this race will not be defined by who shouts loudest about speed. It will be defined by who can make hypersonics reliable, accurate, and strategically useful. In the end, hypersonics are not just missiles. They are mirrors of national ambition. Russia uses them to project strength at a time when its conventional forces are under strain. America develops them as part of a broader vision of high-tech, networked warfare. And the rest of the world watches nervously, knowing that these weapons could trigger the next great arms race. The lesson is clear. The hypersonic race is not only about technology, it is about stability, deterrence, and the future of global security. The winner will not simply be the country with the fastest missile. It will be the country that can harness this power without losing control of the consequences. So, what do you think? Is Russia's head start decisive, or will America's precision and resources tip the balance? And what about the rest of the world? Are we on the brink of a new arms race that could be even more dangerous than the Cold War? Share your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe for more expert analysis, and join me next time as we explore how the weapons of today are shaping the politics of tomorrow.